Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Dog Show Tips, the interview chair brought to you by Dog News Magazine, America's weekly magazine devoted to the sport of purebred dogs. This week, sitting on the chair, we have someone who's had quite the year, Susan Giles. Hi, everybody. Will Alexander here again with this week's interview on the Dog Show Chair, brought to you by Dog Show Tips and Dog News Magazine. Today on the chair, we have Susan Giles. How are you, Susan?
I'm Peachy Keen, thank you.
It looks like you're on top of the world.
Yeah, that's where I am.
How's the weather down there?
Well, right this second it's just cold, but supposedly we're supposed to get um, anywhere from 10 to 24 inches of snow this
Oh,
weekend.
nice. Where are you?
I'm in Virginia. We don't get that kind of snow.
Oh, that's a lot of snow for Virginia. Oh my God.
Yeah, we got some earlier this week. It was like a half an inch. That's our typical snows.
Yeah. I used
Yeah.
to spend a lot of time down there in Middleburg with Mr. Eldridge, and if it we got a covering, that was it. That was
Yeah.
your winter. But
Yep,
yeah,
you're right.
like a foot is normal here. Like where it's snowing right now, and it's snowing on top of the foot of snow we already had. So,
Oh, that's special.
and it's cold. It's really cold today. That's why I have the fire going, trying to convince my brain that I'm warm.
Too fun.
Anyway, you've had quite the run with it. I want to talk about JJ, but that was such an exciting win in Florida, I'm sure. So
Yes, it was.
congratulations.
That was a lot of fun, to say the
Yeah.
least.
So, but we're going to touch on JJ later on. Right now, I want to know about you and how you got started in this crazy world we all love.
Well, 53 years ago, I met a Lhasa and really liked the personality of the dog. So I found one available for sale and bought the puppy. And I didn't have it 3 or 4 days before it was sick with kennel cough. So I
Oh
took it
no.
to the vet. And while I was there, the receptionist had a Shih Tzu that was being campaigned by Jean Lade, who was a handler back in those days. And she told me there was a match on the weekend at the armory. She said, you should bring your puppy. Well, the puppy was still too sick to go. He was on codeine cough medicine. But I went, I looked around, I said, I think I can do this. So a match came up. We went to the match. He won his class. Next match we went to, he won the breed. The next match he went to, he won the group and fell asleep in best in show because he was
Oh
still just
no.
a baby. Yeah,
Well, he was
and he
tired.
was so full of holes he should have leaked. But I took him to his first point show. I drove 6.5 hours the day he turned 6 months old. There were five male puppies. He went fifth out of five both days. I was not deterred. It gave me the opportunity to meet all the Lhasa people and get to know people and go over dogs and learn about structure and type and style and all those things that go into making a breed and making a dog. And I just really enjoyed it. So I kept it up. I then decided that after talking to many people that I needed to get a good foundation bitch. And I ended up being able to get one from Ellen Lonegro, which was Kinderlin Kennels. And she was one of the grand dames of the breed. So she ended up being my mentor. We spent 25 years together breeding and showing until she retired. So those people that say co-ownerships don't work, I don't believe that.
Right.
It was
So
great for me.
you met her through purchasing a puppy from her.
I met her by going to the shows with my holy dog, my first little pet dog that I purchased, and that's how I met. I actually got Jean to introduce me to her because she seemed rather formidable, and I was afraid to introduce myself. So, uh, but it wasn't immediately that I was able to get a dog from her. It took me about 9 months to convince her that I should get a dog from her,
Now,
and it
what
was a
did you do in
beautiful.
that 9 months? Did you continue showing the the first dog?
Yeah, yes, he never got any points, but I
No,
did
well,
say
you got your feet wet and learned the ropes. So
I did, and I said I was gonna um, get a title on that dog no matter what. So he did get an obedience title. I showed him in obedience, and I showed my little bitch Seneca, which is the one I got from Ellen, uh, basically at the same time, which was quite a feat if you know what it's like to try to show him confirmation and obedience at the same time.
that'd be
And I,
difficult, especially with
oh,
losses, goat wise.
yeah,
Anyway, yeah.
exactly. I showed Seneca from April to September. And back in that day, it took about 26 or 28 uh, females or bitch losses to get a 5 point major. And she got two 5 point majors and finished with a few singles in between April and September with me as a novice handler. So that had to tell you she was a really nice bitch.
That's the way to go to start off with as best you can. So
You got it. And she could finish to this day. She was
yeah.
that nice. Yeah,
What
it
was
was
her
really.
name?
Her name was Kinderlin Chalks Seneca.
And you called her Seneca. Was her call name?
Yeah, that was her
Yeah.
call name. Yeah. Yep.
So did you? So Seneca was she was your first brood bitch then?
Yes, she was. And when she was old enough, Ellen said, I called her and told her she was in season. And Ellen said, okay, we're shipping her to Chicago. And I'm like, what? Back in that day, we shipped dogs off to have or the bitches off to be bred. And, nowadays, most people breed to the one that's, in the same city or the next town or
Right.
whatever. But anyway, so we shipped her off and she was bred and she came back. She had, I remember correctly, 6 puppies. And when they were about 6 months and 2 weeks, we went to a specialty with them. And we were selling one of the puppies to another novice handler and new to getting into losses. And Ed Biven was judging the specialty. And with the new novice handler, one of the puppies went winner's bitch, best of winners for a 5 point major from the
Wow.
6 to 9 class. So that was fun.
No, for sure. My gosh.
Yeah. Yep.
So
And we sold her
so
30 minutes before that happened.
oh. So
Made
where
us
did it go?
look good. Ellen used to always say, sell the best, keep the rest.
Yeah, good philosophy.
Hmm. She didn't sell that
Um,
many dogs, but that's all right. She still felt that way.
so where did you go from there then? So what was the first dog that really um like you've had some beautiful dogs. What was your first big impactful dog?
Um, we had a dog named Kindling Tossin Dakini, who was bred to his, I've got to remember, I think it was half sister. Jean Bly in England wanted the bitch bred to uh, his call name was Thumper, bred to Thumper, and the bitch was going to be sent over and whelped to her. The bitch was owned by Jean and Joan Kendall, and Joan Kendall was Orleans, and Jean was Saxon Springs from England. And she did she never made it to Jean because of the fact that Joan ended up with a kidney stone in the hospital when she was supposed to be taking her over. So she whelped here. and Jean tried to pay me a stud fee. I said, no, that's not happening. You didn't even get the puppies. She said, well, then you have to take a puppy. I said, no, that's all right. Now she insisted. So I said, okay, fine. So there was a litter, I think, of 6 or 7. And which, by the way, the average litter in losses is 3 to 4. But anyway, um, Jean brought the puppies to a show and put them in the next pen. And I said, who's that puppy? And she said, that's puppy A. And we watched them walk. I said, who's that puppy? That's puppy A. We did that like 3 or 4 times. We said, I guess we'll take in puppy A. And he was Orlane Sirocco. And he did the first, winning of like winning groups and stuff like that. He's also the second top producing sire of all time. Uh, and he was one of those dogs that just absolutely stamped his total look on a puppy. I mean, if you saw him, you went, that's a Rocks puppy. You knew it
Really?
every time. Yeah. And the other significant dog was a bitch named Isis, Kinloss and Isis, who was dead white. And she was the second top producing bitch of all time. And we've got a couple of great pictures of her in a brood bitch class with 5 puppies behind her that all are obviously from, all her children. I was accused when I was finishing these dogs of, and they were all bitches, by the way, of showing the same dog more than once. And that's part of the reason I brought all 5 of them to the national so everybody could see there really were all these different bitches.
5 of them. Yeah.
That's similar, but that was fun. And then the next significant dog was um, Tyson Victory Peyote. His code name was Pete. He won the um, breed at Westminster 3 times. He won the national as a veteran at 11, and his third win at Westminster was at the age of 11. And he was my first best in show dog.
Do
And
you
he
remember
got the
your
best
first best in show?
uh-huh. And he won that under a breeder uh, for the best in show, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, no question. Who was that?
I'm sorry,
Who was the judge?
Kiki Khan.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, Kiki
Yeah,
Bloomberg before that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I remember it was Kiki
he had
Bloomberg.
some beautiful authors too.
That is a great win for especially for your first best in show.
Yeah.
So you didn't you didn't just. How much influence did the two of you, Ellen, you talk about who you're gonna breed to, which directions you're gonna go? How did you learn your philosophy on breeding these dogs?
Well, when we used to go to shows, Ellen didn't drive, so I always had to drive an hour and a half up to Culpeper, pick her up to go to the dog shows. And when we're driving to the shows and home, we'd, talk about breeding dogs. We'd talk about, who'd be best, blah, blah, blah. And when we ran out of our own dogs to breed, then we'd talk about who we'd breed other people's dogs to. So we were always working on that. And basically, yeah, you have to pay attention to a pedigree, but the real philosophy or basis of it for us was compensation breeding. If a bitch had a really good front, but the rear wasn't so great, obviously you want to go to a dog that has a really good rear and can have at least a fairly good front. Um, and that's the way we tried to approach breeding um, everything that we bred.
That's
And
interesting.
we
So sorry,
we
go
talked
ahead.
a lot. Oh, well, we talked a lot, and the interesting thing and the good thing about this mentoring relationship was I was allowed to have an opinion. There are some mentors that you have to do it their way,
Right.
down the line, whole bit, everything they say. With Ellen, you were allowed to have an opinion, and it didn't have to be the same one as hers.
That's great. So that's a great. I've never heard it called compensation breeding before. That's a great way of thinking about it now. So you you obviously line breed as well. Um, when do you go out when you see something needs to be changed or compensated for?
um, well, our gene pool is getting so small that uh, that's getting to be an issue too. But the first breeding we did was an outcross, the one with Seneca. Um, and we did a lot of line breeding and even some inbreeding, not a lot to say the least. Um, but going out, gosh, I don't really know how to answer that. For me, I guess it's just kind of a gut feeling that it needs it. You need something else, or you need to diverse the genes enough to be able to come back to where you are. Um, because you can't breed yourself into a corner, or well, you can breed yourself into a corner,
Many
but
people
you don't
do, yes.
want to. Yeah. So I guess I have to say, as much as anything, gut feeling.
Hmm. And as far as showing the dogs, did Ellen teach you to show the dogs? Like, how did you be so
Uh,
good at what you
Most,
do?
I mostly learned how to show a dog by watching some of the professional handlers. In my day, when I started, there was Jean Lade, Annette Lurton, Emily Gunning. Those are the three big Lhasa handlers. And I spent a lot of time watching them. And we didn't show in the breed and leave. We stayed. We watched other breeds. We watched the groups. Um, the dog show was a big thing, not just a little microcosm of, you know, showing in a class and leaving.
Right. That's
But I did take a
changing.
class from George Austin after I'd been showing for 17 years.
I know he told me. He told me all about you were his star pupil.
No, but that's how I learned, by watching other people.
Okay, did you reach out to any of these people and because not just the handling of the Lhasa, preparing the Lhasa and conditioning the Lhasa, that just
Uh,
come naturally to you?
a lot of that came naturally, which I don't know why, but a lot of it did. And in fact, when I first approached Ellen about getting a puppy from her, she later on told me that she was worried that my little pet puppy was going to beat hers because I had it so well groomed. Don't ask me how I learned how to groom. I guess it just came naturally, I guess.
Yeah, that's so some people are like that. Some people can see things and just do it. So I wish I was like that.
Well, I have in my past life been an artist to some degree, so that may have been part of it, and that's one of the things I enjoy about showing and grooming and preparing a Lhasa is the fact that you get to create this picture, um, which is, the coat and the outline and the whole bit. And, you know, I guess maybe it takes a little bit of an artistic eye to do that.
You'd be surprised.
Always helps.
A lot of people I talk to, artistic eye comes into play. I think our sport is based on symmetry and balance. So I think most of us have that eye to some degree. So yeah, I
Yeah,
really believe that.
yeah,
So
I agree.
where did you go from there? Like I want to know how JJ came about.
Well, actually, go back. When I
Okay,
finished Seneca
you're in
so
charge. Go
quickly,
back.
yeah, when I finished Seneca so quickly, I was really lucky because Ellen and another person named Raymond Sledzik, who was a Lhasa judge, had a bitch they co-owned, and they let me take her and show her. And then Ellen co-owned another bitch with Jane Browning in Virginia Beach, and they let me show her. So I got to stay in the ring basically until the puppies, till Cynic was old enough to have the puppies, and then to get the puppies in the ring. So I was able to continue to show, which helped a lot. Where the average person gets a puppy, shows it, and finishes it. Now, what do you do?
Right.
You're just sitting there. And I got to stay in the ring. How did JJ come about? JJ came about partially because I have a couple of friends in Europe, and that's one thing I love about this sport is the fact that you develop a whole family, friends from all over the world, friends from all over the country. You never go to a dog show that you're there by yourself, if you know
Right.
what I mean. There's somebody somebody to talk to, somebody to do stuff with, whatever. But um, I have shown a few foreign dogs for some of those people. Juha Karas in Finland, Kirsti Paju in Estonia, and I had a dog of Kirsti's here that I'd shown and finished, and I'd used him for breeding. And it was time to send him back, and we used to be able to just go to Dulles, put a dog on the plane, and ship it. Well, they changed the rules to where you had to use an agency and blah blah blah. It was going to cost like $3,500, and this was like, oh, 10 years ago. So now it's probably five, maybe more. But anyway, I said to Kirsty, I said, I can buy a ticket and get on a plane for a lot less. So I'll just bring the dog myself. Oh, and by the way, you're subjected to me staying for more than in and out because if I'm flying all that distance, I might as well stay. So while I was there, I saw a dog named Latte, or call name was Latte. His um, real name is Love Legacy Truth. But anyway, Simline's Legacy Truth. And I just loved him. And I said, I want this dog in the US to show. Well, at the time, he was running for number one dog in the country. And there was just a few more months to go. And they said, let's see how it goes. If he continues to be in contention, um, we'll keep him here and we can bring him to Westminster. Not to show, but when they come to Westminster. And if he doesn't, then fine, we'll ship him over. Well, he ended the year number two dog. He lost by 1 point.
Oh, no.
So if you ever think that 1 point makes a difference or doesn't make a difference, in his case it did. But anyway, Christy brought him over to New York and I started showing him and he got several best in shows, but he's also sired 20 some champions now. And JJ is one of them. Um, he sired two best in show dogs and a best in show granddaughter. Um, so he's done a pretty good job on his part.
Yeah, sounds
Uh,
like it.
yeah, he's still with me. That was another thing. I said, oh, by the way, he can't come back. He's got to stay here.
Oh,
So he's 10 years old. And he's a silly house dog now, and he goes to all the dog shows with me. He and Bubbles, who is JJ's mother, um, who is out of the other dog I had of Kirsty's. So we did a outcross to an outcross to produce JJ, which is interesting. Um, that's not something you usually do, but Bubbles is very tightly line bred. So, um, in fact, she is a granddaughter of Pete, the dog, the peyote dog I mentioned earlier. But anyway, um, so JJ and his brother went to the national, and one day one winners dog, best of winners. The next day, oh, and best bred by, of course. And the next day, the other dog was winner's dog, best of winners, best bred by. But anyway, um, some people like JJ the best, some people like Hatter the best. Um, and so I'm not sure why JJ was the one I started to, um, but he loves the show. Okay, so I don't know why this is the one that I decided to start showing, but I I hold on just um he loves the show. He takes it as a very um,
Oh,
so JJ loves the show. He takes this job of showing very seriously. I cannot get him to play in the ring. Outside the ring, I'm sitting on top of the trolley. He's rolling on his back. He's talking to anybody that walks by. He's silly sometimes. Um, he knows when to rest. He knows when uh, to put his little head down and just chill out. And when he goes in the ring, it's showtime. And you put that with a fairly well put together dog, and that's JJ.
well, he sure has proven it. That's for sure. Well,
Yeah,
when was his first Best in Show? How old was he?
um, 2.5, I guess. 2.5, 3, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I didn't start showing him till after he was about 2, which even 2 is young for a Lhasa since they hit their prime at 5 to 6.
Right. Yeah. And what?
And
So,
now he has 26 best in shows, 28 reserve best in shows, and of course, won the biggest show of the year last year.
I know that was so exciting. It was exciting. Well, I was at home watching. I was there the first day. I judged on Friday, and I was there Saturday. I left Saturday night, and then I had to watch it on TV the next night, so on AKC TV. So that was an exciting night.
Thank you. It
Did you
was
have a good
exciting for
feeling?
me to say the least.
Yeah, I
And
bet.
adding breeder of the year to it as well was
Oh,
like,
I know. Yeah.
it was all big surprises.
How exciting. So if somebody came up to you and asked you and I said Susan or Miss Giles, how could I begin breeding or what advice would you give them if they wanted to start breeding losses?
Um, my first thing would be to learn the standard. Um, if you do, well, when our original standard was so short that just about any dog could fit in it. In fact, my first pet fit in it. But
Hmm.
it's been um, elaborated on to some degree, and it makes it a little bit more um, a little easier for someone to try to put a picture of a Lhasa to the actual physical being in front of them.
Yeah, because
Um,
that's difficult with a lot of standards. It really is
yeah,
to
that I've
visualize
done
what they're
down.
trying to tell us.
Yeah, and that's why when I'm mentoring people that want to judge, which mentoring somebody that wants to judge and mentoring somebody that wants to read is not that different as far as talking about the Lhasa. Um, I tried to give them what the overall picture should be, which I talk about the fact it's a breed of thirds. It's a third muzzle to 2/3 head. It's about a third head and neck to a third body to a third leg, and they're about a third longer than tall. And your shoulder to upper arm to leg is a third, a third, a third. So if you start there, you can then work on learning the nuances of the breed and that kind of stuff. So yeah, first thing you got to do if you want to breed or show is learn the standard and learn what you're supposed to be working with.
Keep going, 'cause I'm gonna get you to sign my paper after you're done, because I may go for that group next.
We can do that. We're in shows together.
So you'd ask them to learn their standard and then how to proceed after that. How would they proceed after that?
Um, well, I would assume if somebody wants to breed, they've already been showing. So let's say they've already been showing some. They're they're learning the standard. Put your hands on every dog you possibly can. We did that when we started. I don't see people doing that anymore. And how are you going to learn about a breed if you can't or don't put your hands on them? So that would be my next thing. Put your hands on every dog you possibly can so that you can learn what it is. And you need to learn structure and anatomy because there are many people that don't know that either. I mean, the person that says, "Where are the withers?" and wants to breed, come on, you got to know that stuff. Because are you going to know if you're putting them in the right place?
True,
So
it
that
sure
would be
does.
my next thing. And then try to find, if you've obviously already got a bitch, try to find what you think is the best representative of the breed that fits with your bitch. And when I say fits with your bitch, we're going back talking about compensation breeding again.
I
So
like that.
that would be what I'd suggest. And find a mentor.
Yes, that's very important. Same with showing dogs. Mm.
Yep.
Like, that leads me into my next. Besides Ellen, were there people that you learned from at the dog shows? That you leaned on about information, about knowledge, about even just showing the dogs different ways?
I wouldn't say that they're one specific person or anything that I learned additional stuff from. Um, I was very much of a sponge, and
Mm.
I took in every little tiny piece of information and knowledge from people around me, people I was watching, people that I associated with, people I didn't associate with, but I watched what they did and saw how they handled themselves or how they handled the dogs. Um, so yeah, sponge.
Yeah. George likes those people. How did you end up going to one of George's seminars?
Um, he was showing at the same time as I was back then, and I heard he was having a seminar, and I'd heard a bunch of people say what a good job he did with his seminar. So I decided I would take the seminar, and in fact, that was back in the days when I was showing the Sirocco dog. So that's who I took to the seminar with me.
Did you end up winning the
Yep.
seminar?
I'm sorry.
Did you end up winning the seminar?
No, that was the funny
Oh
part
no, it
about it.
called you a star pupil. You didn't win.
No, and but it taught me a very good lesson. Um, I don't remember exactly what happened, but Rox on the final thing between myself and another gal, um, acted like he maybe didn't feel well, wasn't happy with what was going on, something, and I did not adjust how I was presenting him to fit his mood at the time. And I didn't win because of that. But it was a very good lesson on compensating again
Oh yeah, yeah.
for for the dog's attitude or the dog's um, mood that day because losses can be stubborn and maybe that was a little bit of what he was giving me that day. You have to work a lot with losses at making them think it's their idea to do what they're doing.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of breeds that are very much like that. I think I was telling you earlier a story about Luke, Eric, and I when we were kids. We had to switch dogs one time in junior handling, and he gave me his Lhasa, and I gave him my Doberman. So yeah, I got this. That was my first time showing a Lhasa. I was about 10.
Yes, and losses often don't like to be handled by somebody they don't know and
Yeah, no,
will
he was
lots of
very good.
times just flat out shut down.
No, he was very good for me, and I still have photos. I think I sent Luke a photo not too long ago of that, so it was fun.
Oh, that's cute. Love it.
Yeah.
You were lucky. JJ, I can hand off to anybody. Yeah. The bitch is not as much. The
Really?
boys are better. The boys are easier. The funny thing is, up until the last two or three dogs I've shown, I've actually shown more bitches as specials than I'd shown dogs.
I found the same too when I was showing dogs. Dogs were easier. I think bitches were deep thinkers, and they thought about, oh, am I going to do this for you today or not? Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. They don't call them bitches for nothing.
Exactly. Boys are like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes the boys seem a little dumb. The
I
dumb
didn't want to come
Lhasa
out
is
and
the
just
better
say that.
show dog, but I can't say that JJ is a dumb Lhasa by any stretch. So.
Yeah. What about judging, Susan?
No, thank you. I like to compete.
Yeah.
I have no desire to judge.
Have you judged like
Zero. No.
sweepstakes or
I've
anything like that?
judged fraternities and sweepstakes, and I judged the uh, puppy stakes down in Orlando last year. I didn't really want to do it, but I felt like I had to say, okay, I would. I like to show. I like to
Yeah.
compete. That's that's the whole fun to me. Going
Well,
in and picking out a the best of some mediocre puppies in my own breed. Nah, there's no
yeah.
joy in that for me.
That seems to be a common um, thought process with people that end up becoming judges. They were ex handlers or very prominent or
Right.
dominant in their sport. They like to go home with their great dog, whereas best in show, like you get to award best in show, but you go home empty handed.
Yeah.
I'm doing both. Like I'm judging now, and I still compete with my beagles and whatnot. So I think it works really well for me because I can keep things in perspective about dogs I'm competing with. Actually, I don't take the losses so personally now because I understand it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
But if someone wanted you to judge a loss, especially, would you step up and do that?
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't know,
I prefer not to.
really?
I'd rather
Okay.
show it the loss of specialty.
What if we need someone like you to be a judge?
Uh, Find another person that would like to do it instead of me.
All right, I'll stop pushing you.
By the way, at my age, yeah, I'd be 212 before I got a group. So that's the other thing.
So what's next for you?
um,
I know you're
Probably
going to
bring
New
well
York 'cause I know it's
Westminster next week.
yeah.
Um, and probably bringing out JJ's brother Hatter, Mary Manhattan, um, to show some and see how he does.
Oh, excellent.
However, losses don't sit very well, so that may be interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
And
sure
by the
you'll
way,
do
just for
well.
the fun of it, I'll explain how Jingle Juice got his name and Mary Manhattan. They were born the week of Christmas, and their mother's name is Effervescence, and we call her Bubbles. And her
That's great.
mother's name was Veuve Clicquot, and we called her Barbie Nicole because Madame Clicquot's first name was Barbie Nicole. So they had to be Christmas drinks. So we had Jingle Juice, Mary Manhattan, and the little girl was Ornamentini.
Oh, wow. I love how
It's
people
fun.
find names. So I think you'll do great with your dog. You've done great your whole career pretty well. Um, I'll give you one last question, Susan, and I'll get out of your hair or your losses hair. You can get back to work. If you were to meet the 20-year-old Susan now, is there any advice you would give her?
Yeah, jump in with all 4 feet.
I'll forfeit. I like that. Yes. Oh, very good.
I don't regret that I started showing dogs at all. Um, I could probably use some of the money I spent.
Couldn't we all? You want to be a millionaire in dog shows? Start off as a
I put a
billionaire.
lot of dogs through college.
Yeah, that happens. All right. Well, thank you, Susan. I appreciate your time. And then best of luck in New York and best of luck in the future. and I'm sure our paths will cross somewhere.
I'm sure they will. I bet you'll be in Westminster, won't you?
Well, still up in the air. I'm not showing anything there, but I might come just to watch everybody.
I think I have missed two Westminsters since 1975.
Wow, 75 was
Yeah,
my first
whether I'm
Westminster.
showing or not, I usually go.
Yeah. 75 was my first Westminster.
Was it? That was my first too.
Yeah.
I took my little bit Seneca, and she was one of 41 Lhasa specials.
Wasn't that great? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, we didn't do anything. I was a real rank novice, to say the least.
I was there with my parents. My parents had their Irish setter entered, so I was there just watching
Cool.
again.
Very
So,
good. Well, I
all
certainly
right.
enjoyed it, Will.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Susan. Thank you, Susan. What a career. It seemed like you've been successful the entire time. Anyway, if you like what you see here, make sure you press the like, share, and subscribe button. And I look forward to seeing the rest of you on future interviews brought to you by Dog News Magazine. Take care, guys.